respected keynote speaker, esteemed panelists, honorable faculty members, and enthusiastic students present here this morning. To start off, I would like to quote a beautiful line by Henry Ford. Coming together is beginning, staying together is progress, and working together is success. With this, on behalf of Indian Institute of Management, Amritsar, I, Anshuman, along with Ashima, welcome you all to the 4th edition of Vyakriti, the annual IT and Analytics Conclave. Vyakriti brings together the industry experts to explore and discuss the latest trends and challenges in technology that are shaping our future. Our aim is to bridge the gap between academic knowledge and practical industry application, fostering a platform where innovation thrives and learning knows no bounds. We are excited to embark on this journey today, and I hope you are ready for some thought-provoking conversations. Shubham karoti kalyanam, arogyam dhan sampada, shatru buddhi vinashaya, deep jyotir namostute. May the light bring auspiciousness, health and wealth, and destroy the intellect's enemy. I bow to the light. So, with the blessings of Goddess Saraswati, the Goddess of Knowledge, I would like to request our eminent panelists, respected keynote speaker, Dean of Academics, Professor Mahima Gupta, PR Chairperson, Professor Ashwati Ajita, Honorable Students Affairs Chairperson, Professor Swapandeep Arora, and all the faculty members to please come up on the stage and enlighten the lamp of knowledge. would like to request our Dean of Academics, Professor Mahima Gupta, to deliver her address to the audience.
I welcome you all to the 4th IT Analytics Conclave, Vyakriti. Today's panel discussion on digitization and trust will explore the technical, social and ethical implication of digitization both now and in the future. We anticipate valuable insights into the opportunities and challenges ahead, particularly in fostering trust among all stakeholders. These discussions will be crucial in helping us navigate the complexity of digitization while upholding the values that matter the most. Before we begin, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to all the panelists for joining us today. Your presence here is invaluable and we are eager to hear your insights and experiences. At IIM Amritsar, we have always prioritized building strong, meaningful relationships with the corporate world. Our partnership with industry leaders have been crucial in driving forward our academic initiatives. Each year, we host HR, finance, marketing, operations strategy, and leadership summits to enrich our students' learning through these industry interactions. Additionally, we introduced a dedicated conclave in the IT Analytics domain, that is the Vyakriti, to stay abreast of emerging trends and to gain practical knowledge from industry experts. In response to the growing demands of IT analytics professionals, we have launched a specialized MBA program in business analytics and an MSc program in data science and management in collaboration with IIT Roper. We have graduated 2 batches of MBA BA and our first batch of MSc Business, Data Science and Business Management will be ready to join industry next year. Moreover, we have also enhanced the curriculum of our MBA, MBA HRM, Executive MBA program to offer students ample opportunities to develop expertise in these critical areas. To all our students present here, I encourage you to actively engage with panelists and absorb and learn from their experiences. This will not only help you in your academic journey, but will also serve as a foundation for your future careers. Once again, I sincerely thank all the panelists for their presence. We look forward to continuing our collaboration with the corporate world through initiatives such as conclaves, live projects, summer internships, and final placements. I extend my best wishes to the organizing team for a successful event. Thank you, and let's have a great interaction ahead. Thank you. Thank you, Professor, for putting your valuable words in front of the audience. With great pleasure and enthusiasm, we would like to introduce today's theme, Digitization and Trust, a double-edged sword shaping our future. And for that, we are pleased to welcome Ms. Jessica Janan and Mr. Rishabh Rai to present today's theme.
Imagine a future where everything is digital. Autonomous cars, cashless transactions, and AI-driven decisions. A world where efficiency reigns supreme. But one day, a massive data breach occurs, exposing millions of personal records. Suddenly, the trust that once held this digital utopia together starts to crumble. This isn't just fiction, It's our reality. As we embrace digitization, we must recognize its double-edged nature. Good morning, everyone. I, Yastika Jain, along with Rishabh Rai, are here to present on the topic Digitization and Trust, a double-edged sword shaping our future. Today, we'll explore how to navigate this delicate balance, ensuring that our digital future is both innovative and trustworthy.
Thank you, Yastika, for such an insightful introduction. So, we can infer that digitization is beyond converting analog data to digital. It is the integration of digital technologies into processes, services, and models, transforming how organizations create, deliver, and capture value by leveraging digital tools to enhance efficiency and innovation. In today's world, digitization has significant context and relevance as it is transforming efficiency, innovation, and competitiveness across all sectors, from government to industry. For example, Tesla integrates over-the-air updates and autonomous driving, whereas the COVID portal managed 2 billion vaccine doses, and platforms like eSanjeevani delivering telemedicine services to remote areas. While trust is highly significant for digital transformation as it ensures adoption, security, and growth. For example, India's Aadhaar system, despite facing privacy concerns, gained acceptance through secure authentication. And this trust is based on the 4 anchors of digitization, which fosters transparency by providing real-time data access, clear audit trails, and open communication. For example, the Goods and Services Tax Network, which reduces bureaucratic delays and corruption, while ensuring faster service delivery and enhanced trust in institutions. It also improves efficiency by automating routine tasks, enabling data-driven decision-making, and optimizing resource management. For example, the Indian Railways FOIS, that is the Freight Operation Information System, uses digital tracking to efficiently manage the movement of freight trains. Along with this, it enhances accessibility by providing 24/7 access, mobile accessibility, and inclusive features. For example, the CSC, which tries to bridge the rural-urban digital divide by providing digital access points for services like healthcare, banking, and agriculture. But what is the 4th anchor that is critical to safeguard data and building trust in digital systems? It is security. And by implementing advanced encryption, multi-factor authentication, and secure data storage, organizations can protect against cyber threats. For example, UPI integrates 2-factor authentication, ensuring safe and secure transactions, which has led to its widespread adoption and trust among users.
Well, these terms aren't just theoretical. They are already driving substantial transformations across the globe. Take, for instance, Estonia's e-government, which Estonia makes it among the top countries in the UN's e-government development index, which with its citizens and public servants having access to a wide range of services online, which include making payments, accessing health records, and e-voting. And the OTT giant Netflix, which evolved into a leading streaming platform through data-driven personalization and digital delivery. Jam Trinity, Jan Dhan accounts, Aadhaar, and Mobile Trinity, which increase trust on digitization by providing efficient government services delivery, reducing leakage, enhancing information access, and thus lifting standard of living. From the graph, we can infer that the digital spending has increased a magnificent 159% from $0.96 trillion in 2017 to $2.49 trillion in 2024, which is further expected to increase by 56% in 2027, highlighting the growing belief in digitization and digital transformation. But we must not forget that digitization has a dark side. From the graph, we can see that the common IT security vulnerabilities and exposures has risen 5 times from 2009 to 2024, showcasing the potential risk of digitization. Let us have an overview of these risks. The internal resistance from employees or stakeholders in adopting new digital tools or processes leads to implementation challenges and decreased efficiency. Data security and privacy concerns, which encompass risk of cyber attacks, data breaches, misuse of personal data, and inadequate privacy protections can erode user confidence. With the presence of huge volumes of data, migrating it to the cloud has become more complex, requiring advanced strategies for seamless transitions. Data migration also comes along with its high cost. As a Statista report revealed, 64% of companies experience downtime during migrations, resulting in financial losses of up to $500,000 per hour.
Now, let's deeply delve into these concerns one by one. So, what are the reasons for resistance? The fear of job losses, as concerns about new technology disrupting established workflows. For example, in India, traditional industries like textiles and manufacturing have seen resistance to automation due to concerns about job security. And as suggested by a NASSCOM report, India's IT industry could lose 600,000 jobs by 2025. The deficiencies in reskilling is also causing this resistance. As per McKinsey, 87% of executives reported skill gaps due to digitization, and still many companies are not investing enough in reskilling programs. And this fear of job insecurity erodes trust, as fear of automation cutting jobs lowers employee trust. For example, automation in India's IT sector is causing trust issues, while it also slows digital transformation, as observed by employees' resistance in India's banking sector, which long delayed the adoption of digital technologies. But how should we overcome this resistance? We have to invest in reskilling, as it helps employees adapt to new roles. For example, the Infosys Reskill and Reboot program trains to IIM employees in AI and cloud. And along with it, there must be clear communication of its effects on employee efficiency and productivity by engaging multiple stakeholders. Now, moving on to the next concern, that is data privacy and security. As per our IIM report, the global average cost of a data breach in 2024 is $4.88 million, which is a 10% increase over the last year and the highest total ever. Now, let's consider the risk under unauthorized access and data breaches. For example, the Uber data breach of 2016, where 57 million users and drivers' data was exposed, causing significant reputational damage to Uber. And the erosion of trust through privacy violations, as the Facebook data leak of 2021 affected over 530 million users, raising global privacy concerns while highlighting that even big organizations can falter. Vulnerability due to loss of data control, as the LastPass data breach of 2022 exposed encrypted user vaults could be compromised, raising concerns about the security of password management solutions. And the rising issue, that is data migration and its subsequent costs. Now from these news articles, we can infer that data migration can lead to services shutdown, incurring high costs and other significant problems, as evident via Gartner study that 83% of data migration projects either failed or exceeded their budgets, with average cost overruns of 30%. Now, let's deeply dive into it further. Data migration causes downtime, causing subsequent financial losses, as evident via 2021 Statista survey. 64% of companies experience downtime during data migration. The legacy system compatibility issue also adds further complexity, as it needs to be ensured that new digital tools are compatible with outdated legacy systems. Further, it also adds to human and operational costs, as according to McKinsey, large-scale migrations significantly increase stress levels among 60% IT teams, impacting productivity. And as the data volume grows, it is expected to rise from 44 zettabytes from 2020 to over 200 zettabytes by 2025, making data migration more complex and costly.
Now, let's look at how some organizations successfully tackle the barriers to digitization. Data security enhancement. IBM Watson was faced with concerns over securing sensitive health data. IBM implemented robust encryption and strict access policies to comply with US HIPAA regulations, which ensured patient privacy and security. Customer experience enhancement. McDonald's invested in self-service kiosks and a mobile app to digitize its ordering process, leading to higher customer satisfaction and increased sales. Change management and employee training. Starbucks effectively reduced resistance to its mobile ordering rollout through extensive employee training. This led to smoother operational transitions and higher customer satisfaction. Cost management. Walmart adopted a phased digitization approach, starting with high ROI areas such as e-commerce and logistics automation. This strategy enabled them to manage transformation costs while improving profitability. As we look towards a fully digital future, one thing is clear: trust will be the cornerstone. While the promises of digitization, such as enhanced efficiency, connectivity, and innovation, are within the reach, the risks cannot be overlooked. Breaches in data security, unauthorized surveillance, and manipulation of digital platforms pose real threats to privacy and autonomy. Can we build a digital ecosystem that fosters trust? Or are we paving the way towards a more dangerous, unregulated future? The answers to these questions will not only shape our digital strategies, but will also dictate how much of our human trust are we willing to place in technology moving forward. Thank you.
Your presentation was informative and thought-provoking. Let your deeds illuminate the path, not the glow, of your own ambition. Led by inspiration and elevation, for the truest measure of leadership lies not in your essence, but in the lives you live and the legacies you leave. With this being said, allow me to introduce you to the keynote speaker, Mr. Gautam Datta. Mr. Gautam has been the Chief Information and Digital Officer at Bajaj Allianz Life Insurance since November 2018 with nearly 30 years of experience in technology. He has successfully led digital transformations and large-scale operations. During driving business value through innovation, prior to Bajaj Alliance, he headed technology and digital innovation at IIMAm Lombard, where he improved customer onboarding and streamlined business processes. Mr. Gautam's passion for leveraging technology continues to shape the future of digital insurance. Outside work, he enjoys badminton and reading history and management books. With that being said, we would like to heartily invite Mr. Gautam Datta on stage. We would like to request Professor Soumati Arora to come on stage and felicitate Mr. Gautam Datta. Thank you very much, Professor. It is with utmost reverence that we humbly request Mr. Datta to deliver the keynote address.
Good morning. I know it's tough to stay awake on Saturday morning. Look, I'm not a PPT person, so those who get bored by PPT, it's a nice morning for all of you. I have 4 stories to tell. Just 4. I might still save some time. As I see you all have saved time, I'm here 20 minutes prior my schedule. Let's see. I guess all of you do use many apps. But before I get into that, first let me thank IIM Amritsar for recognizing. I never thought I will come here and be in this batch. I don't think I have done anything great as such, but thanks for offering it. Now that you have set an agenda which is so very intriguing, it has got trust as a word. Digitization, almost all of us understand. Trust is a very complicated word, and you put it together, made it very, very interesting. Before I go there, let me ask you a question. If you do not know the answer, not a problem. Most of us do not know. All of you use Uber or Ola like that. Think about one condition which revolves around data and analytics. That Uber or Ola will give you a price and you will accept it in 5 seconds. Think through. I'm available. We will chat about your idea. Now, when we are talking about digitization and trust, how many of you remember July 20th? CrowdStrike? Yeah? How many of you have been into a hospital or an airport or even a retail chain, and you suddenly saw things queuing up, going slow? So without even understanding anything about technology, your parents who may not understand technology understood something went off, hence scale is denied, first of all. So when scale is denied, big business is denied. When big business is denied, big ideas are denied. So let's start from there, what digitization can impact into. But is it only digitization that impacts trust? or they go together? I think I have a little different idea there. What are the big ideas in our life? Faith. In one side you see faith joins people. On the other side you might also see some of those disparate examples where faith actually creating problems. So anything that is massive, anything occupies a major part of our daily life can have a reverse impact, depending on how you utilizing it. I hope most of you will utilize it on the positive side, but I'm sure some of us would try at some point in time to test its limit. Like army. In some place on our eastern border, you'd find army is doing just opposite what Indian army is doing. Instead of protecting citizens, they are threatening citizens. So things that are massive, very powerful, are working differently, like exactly digitization. So it's not only digitization, so don't get lost on only digitization has got this angle to it. Anything that is massive has got this angle. And it's you who has to make sure which side you are, who has to influence others to make sure which side they are in, and probably reap the benefit. Those who have forgotten about the Ula and over, please don't forget, because I will come back to all of you. And that's my way of keeping you awake. Anybody who wants to play on your mobile, please go ahead. Let's come back to 4 stories. This is not an Indian brand, this is an US brand. It's one of the second biggest retail chain. Now there is nothing big. 2000, when none of you or most of you might not have even born, credit card got chip in it. Prior to that, credit card used to have magnetic strips. Magnetic strips नीचे ऐसे रहता था and chip बीच में रहता था. ठीक? 2000, Visa and Mastercard had that technology. Brand like Target offered goods on discount should you swipe your credit card. So credit card use in that market skyrocketed. They collected those data, did fair amount of analytics on it to guess who would buy what from where and when. Extremely important. Who would buy? He's not asking your name, he's not asking your age, he's not asking where from you are. He's just, or this brand is just collating data from your transaction. So you just swipe your credit card. And they are trying to understand what will you buy next, where will you buy, which brand will you buy, and all of that. Which almost like 25% of your desires are captured in their database. So much so, there was a controversy that which lady will get pregnant when and which brand of apples and other stuff they will buy is actually advertised to them. Now if you see from other side, this is super. Customer experience is at its epitome, right? You just go ahead and click it and get it. Somebody knows so well to you that you don't need to actually go through the few thousand meters of their warehouse. You just go and pick it up. All the way very well. Massive force. Suddenly, one day, one guy who is there to fix their ACs, his account got compromised. And from there, somebody got access to all of those data. One problem of stripped credit card is it can be replicated like every second twice. So when they got the data, they sold it on darknet, and all of those credit cards got replicated. Now you see, you don't know what had happened to your credit card and somebody actually using it. You will do not know from where he got this data because you have no clue, or we as a consumer have no clue. That's where trust got broken. That's where this company had gone through a tremendous problem to establish their brand again. So they still exist, but they went through tremendous problem. That's where a technology which was available in 2000 got implemented by Visa and MasterCard. So cheapest card became a reality after around 15 to 16 years of its experience or existence. That's what happens when you got a massive force working for you, or there is a slight bit of anonymity there and it started working against you. I give another example which will be little near to our house, my company. We sell life insurance. Almost all of you, barring the first row, I guess no interest in life insurance. Probably you do not even understand it. Fair enough. It's a complicated one, so I don't expect any of you to understand cash flow, investment, and all those stuff. But it's real. To manage your life risk, to manage your risk of living long or shortening your life, there are risks which is to be taken care. So we do this. You understand, if I have to, or anyone has to sell life insurance to you, how many times he or she has to meet you? 5, 6 times? Twice with you, twice with your parents, and then lots of papers that you will write. So there are lots of interaction, which means the process is very lengthy. Anything very lengthy, either you understand very well or you do not understand. Either of this. So some of you may understand life insurance cash flow very well, some of you will leave confused. Now that's our challenge. When we try to sell something, that's our challenge. So what we did is we collected all of this data. Who buys, what he is buying or she is buying, what kind of product, how long can we pay, when does he or she wants the money back, all of this. Collect, analyze, and create a pre-existence offer. We call it PASA. Don't go into technicalities, you will get bored. Now this requires us to collect all of this data. Now data, for all of you, to be very, very clear, is assets. When you collect all of them, it is almost like you are putting all of your money in one box. So you do that. What it helps? It helps when you are trying, or anybody new is trying to buy a life insurance, we can give it in a couple of seconds. Just 2 clicks. Just pay the money and we offer you the cover. This does tremendous for us. Big number of application actually goes through this. It is available for existing customer as well as new customer. Now this is massive for us. Anything we just talked about is massive, has got a counter side to it. What happens tomorrow if it gets leaked? I'm sure everybody in the industry has got his or her own logic of PASA. That's not leakage. That's his asset. His model. Equity, my model gets leaked. Now what happens? Your income gets leaked. Somebody can make use of it. Your health record gets leaked. Somebody can make use of it. And as they make use of it, some of you would understand this leakage happened because of value. Hence, there is a risk. So again, insurance business is anyway based on trust. There's nothing else. There's just nothing else. Because when you pay money to an insurance company, you get nothing. आजकल तो paper भी नहीं मिलता. So anything and everything comes in a PDF. So not even an actual paper. So it's trust. When such thing happens, he is trying to sleep. Don't allow him to sleep. When that thing happens, trust gets impacted. If trust gets impacted, business model gets impacted. When business model gets impacted, our ability to grow contains. And we as a management student all understand without growth is actually degrowing, not stagnant. Right? So that's another example very near to our house. Let's go next. What do you understand is X number of, now India is a little different country. We are not yet obligated, none of the banks and other institutions not yet obligated to actually declare full length of their cyber impacts. There are some rules coming up where incidents that are noticed maybe need to be notified to some of them, some of the authorities, but not to the scale that an advanced country does. After that also, there are tremendous number of cases that we see at the bottom. Now think about the third line, IRCTC. Many of you may not have used it, but your parents must have used it. Some of you who are lucky may get an opportunity to use it, do use it. It's a really class platform. Now, if I am buying a ticket in IRCTC from A location to B location and I click on insurance, the data goes to a third party who just gives insurance. But to give an insurance, what he collects? Very innocent, you will not even understand, this is just one tick. He collects station A, station B, date, how many passengers, age of the passengers, how frequent you travel, when all you have traveled, have you came back with the same medium, all of that. So without knowing your name, there is a tremendous amount of insight that I can collect. I have been collecting when I was used to work with another insurance company, and we do our analytics model. Now again, massive information. Again, massive risk. And we have had our riches. Each of this creates a notion that your parents might be telling, I don't need net banking. That's a little bit of crack on the trust that they should have had on a technology called net banking because it makes it easy. But some of them say, no, that's not good because of this. So there are benefits, and when we fall short to manage that benefit at its standard, there are a little bit of cracks that happens on the trust that we have. Let's go next. Let's talk about a little bit about future, and that's very, very interesting. Now here, my friend from IIT Bombay, they are doing a little bit of research work. Now what is this research work all about? It's about extending medical tests to farthest of this country. It's a big country. And most of the medical risks actually residing into the villages where you really don't have good diagnostic centers. So they will collect the blood, they will send it to a city. After 3 days you will get the result. Half of the time the results are not actual or accurate. That happens. Not that we are bad. This happens across the world. That's how it happens. But how do we address it? So these are the team who are seeing it completely different way to solve this problem. Now let's understand the technology, how massive it can be. This is a scanner. The photo that you are seeing, forget about the brand. The brand may not be real. They are still in WIP. WIP is work in progress. It clicks a photo and an absolute clarity sends it to the cloud where somebody expert will look into it and give you a report based on which you can do your medication. Okay? Now what happens here? There is a cloud technology involved. Somebody exposing his or her own problem to a device collecting it, put it into cloud. It's giving massive benefit to people who need health support. But tomorrow, if this gets hacked, then massive thing can happen. I give you one or two very, very minimalistic impact. A medical company can actually misuse this and start selling something which is not actually addressing the problem. The government can prepare a report showing this geography or this area has got this problem, hence define their own strategies. There could be any length of problem can happen if all of this data gets leaked. Does it mean we should not do it? My understanding is we must do it. But we must also keep the trust intact and take all measures to make sure the trust works. Let me give you one more, which is far more easier than the earlier one. In India, there are at least 3 lakh patients who needs even today kidney transplant, even today. Every year, we add around 70-80% more into this. Now, if you look very closely, these organ transplant processes, it is very state by state by state. You look more closely, doctor by doctor by doctor, hospital by hospital by hospital. So if I need a kidney and somebody in Punjab has got that, for some reason, has got that kidney available, I won't be able to do that. I have to get that person flying from Punjab to Maharashtra so that it is within that state and operate out. Now this is a country like ours, a massive stumbling block. Again, this IIT professor is actually trying to set up a national database and systems around it so that mix and match can happen. Very powerful. So many people will get their lease of life. Now think about the impact of it. Should it be misused? It can be massively commercialized. People who doesn't have any idea about kidney, that they do have kidneys, will actually lose their kidney. Right? So again, something that is so massive, with a little bit of tweaking, somebody can misuse it. Hence, it is all of our duty to make sure that we uphold that trust. Okay? So I'm trying to link all of your theme to both the dimensions. The last one is smart city. Is Amritsar by any means becoming a smart city? Okay. Which means government will start collecting enormous amount of data of our behavior. How do we drive? When do we drive? Which vehicle do we drive? Which kind of AC do we use? When do we use? Which kind of lights do we use? Which university do we go? How do we go? Who studies? Who spends how much? Every details has to be collated. Only then we can divert power to segment A, segment B, control pollution in one area, make sure drainage are clean in another area, and all of that. Without data collection and running model, this is not possible. Again, it runs huge risk. Cities in US have been facing it, in Europe and other countries have been facing it. So again, that's another area which is becoming massive and trust needs to be upheld. With that, I think I have saved a little bit of time, not much. This is what I am. You can scan that QR code, you can get me. If you have the answer ready of Ola and Uber, you can tell me. If you don't have it, you can share your views later. But because it's an IT and Analytics and Conclave, I would expect 50% of you to be able to make out what is the reason that you would click on Ola or Uber offer, even if it is 200% more, within 5 seconds. Thank you.
We extend our heart gratitude to you, sir, for sharing and enlightening your profound insights. Your presence at this event is truly cherished. Thank you. It is now our pleasure to introduce the panel for today's conclave. Starting with Mr. Prashant Dalkar, Vice President of Cloud Data Practice at Hexware Technologies. He's a seasoned leader with over 22 years of experience in data and analytics. He drives global teams in crowd strategy, pre-sales, and solutions, consistently achieving significant revenue growth. His expertise in AI and cloud technologies has transformed client experiences and delivered impactful results. Previously, he held senior roles at Cognizant, IBM, and HCL, where he led major technology portfolios and earned a Clouds-like Technology Champion of the Year. Passionate about AI, Mr. Dalkar now focuses on Gen AI-driven solutions to keep clients competitive in the evolving data landscape.
Up next, we have Ms. Mansi Thapar, Global Cybersecurity Head, Apollo Tires. Ms. Thapar, a cybersecurity expert with 24 years of experience, currently leads global cybersecurity for Apollo Tires. She holds multiple certifications, international awards, and serves on advisory boards for EC Council, Cyber ED, ISMG, and Cyber AI Commune. Passionate about empowering women in cybersecurity, she actively works to uplift their presence in the field. Ms. Mansi also co-founded Cyber Portal, an initiative focused on educating children about cyber security. Her contributions have made her a respected leader and an advocate in the cyber security community. Next on the list we have Mr. Nitin Maheshwari, Director IT at Flex. Mr. Maheshwari brings over 22 years of experience in driving digital transformation and shaping IT strategies. He oversees a wide technology portfolio, balancing cloud and on-premises solutions, and leads a geographically dispersed team to ensure the continuity of critical applications. Known for fostering innovation and operational excellence in digital solutions and large-scale project delivery. Passionate about leadership development, he is also an avid reader, runner, and badminton player. His strategic vision and commitment to improvement define his leadership in the IT.
The next member of our panel is Mr. R.G. Jackson, Vice President and Global Head of Cybersecurity and has over 23 years of experience in securing global technology infrastructures. He oversees IT operations across 11 locations, managing data centers, networks, applications, and cloud security. His leadership has driven the implementation of advanced security solutions like EDR, CSPM, and ZTNA. Previously, he had leadership roles at Genpact, Sopra Steria, and CSC India. Recognized as top 20 cybersecurity talent influencer in India, Mr. Archie is also dedicated to mentoring future cybersecurity talent, having trained over 1,200 individuals.
Up next, we have Mr. Nitin Gupta, Senior Director at IIM Analytics, Data and AI. He is a trailblazer in the realm of data and AI, has been shaping the dynamic data Conclave for over 2 decades and has been with Visa Award for over 8 years. He has been recently featured by Analytics India magazine and an annual list of the most influential AI leaders for honoring those who have excelled in the field and are leading the charge towards a tech-driven future. As the head of Enterprise Analytics, Data and AI at Visa, Sir is spearheading the development of groundbreaking AI and analytics solutions on a global scale. A sought-after thought leader, Sir is frequently invited to share deep insights at various conferences and educational institutes and has received multiple industry recognitions. Beyond his professional pursuits, Sir is a former mountaineer and marathon runner with 10 international and national marathons and an average base camp hike under his belt. An alumnus of IIM Bangalore, ISP Hyderabad, and IIT Dhanabad, Sir's dedication to pushing boundaries, both professionally and personally, is unequivocal. Now, I would like to take the opportunity to invite all the panelists along with our keynote speaker on the stage. Once again, I would like to call Professor Arora on the stage to facilitate our esteemed panelists with a token of appreciation. Thank you, Professor. Now, as a token of our gratitude, one of our esteemed panelists, Mr. R.T. Jackson, would like to present a special gift to Professor Arora. This book is co-authored by him, titled Mastering the Data Paradox, a national bestseller. It holds significant academic value, even serving as a reference book at IIM Lucknow. We would like to take forward the course of today's conclave by inviting the panelists for the discussion. I would request Ms. Nancy Howard to take the lead of the conclave and commence today's discussion.
Hello, good morning everyone. Come on guys. Yes, that's better. So good morning, and from the panel side also, good morning to all of you. So today, I think Mr. Gautam and the students who are presenting has really set the stage on fire. So let us continue with the topic of digitalization. And our panelists, I think you all know, they've got very amazing experience. So I have prepared some questions for that. So let us continue. So, all of you, thank you for joining us. So my first question is for all of you. So one, everybody can, take turns. So like all we discussed, that digitalization is a two-edged sword. One, whether you agree with that or not. And basis your industry, what do you feel? What all benefits, the digitalization has added to you, to your industry in particular?
Sure. So, first of all, the audience. So, first I want to start with one thing. This room also is right. So, the more you smile and clap, it's being actually calculated. So, just take a note of it. So, from my, so the definition of digitalization, let's say whatever processes that we had in the past, I'm taking an example of insurance. I started with 3 or 4 LIC policies, they were, written handwritten. To what we have today, where we do the KYC without even going to the offices. So that process changed. So the actual outcome is same, but the process has been completely modified. The augmentation of technology to make sure that those processes can be done like this is digitalization. And definitely it has really benefited big time. I can quote examples later.
Right? I would like to call it like, digitalization, right? It's more empowering and enabling. Right? Few things. I remember when I traveled first time abroad, it was around 15 years before. So if I need to call at my home, I need to use a calling card, right? One calling card costs some $5 to $10. But if you think now, where are we in that progress? It's just that WhatsApp, right? 2 people sitting across other side of the world, we just need to make a WhatsApp call and we can get connected, that to video. Right? This is one example. Second one, I would like to give an example of Netflix. You guys just covered it, right? One movie get released and people sitting in 190 countries can watch it at the same day. This is the scale of it. Few examples from COVID time perspective, and why I'm covering it from both sides, because you say it's double-edged sword, right? To answer your question, it is yes to me, right? During COVID time, what happened that we all were home locked, being into IT, what else to do? Just be connected and keep on working, right? From business side, expectation was like we are working 24 bar almost 7. Those guys sitting, around the world, they will just ping and they expect that we will reply. And we did that. There was nothing else to do, nothing else for us to do. Came back to normalcy. Business people get used to that because the duration was long, right? We were needing to go out to take care of our personal stuff. People started still pinging at night and say that, hey, can you do that? Even if that is not that much urgent. Right? So now, coming back to that point, is it a double-edged sword? Answer is yes. But the good point is, this sword is not automated. This sword is still in our hand. So what we did, we started having a candid discussion with business, making them realize time has changed. So come back to reality, and this is how we handle it.
That's good. I'm sure you got a lot of budgets also after COVID. Okay, that's great. So Prashant, first that maybe you can add something more, and then you can.
So I can take it further. The examples is Prashant can share. So I come from fintech space, payment space specific. So how digital transformation is happening in this space, I think it's very clear. I think the motto of our company is to make payments seamless for everyone, everywhere. It should be seamless.
Is it audible? Everybody?
Is it better now? So I was saying from the payment space, I think the motto of the company is to make payments seamless for everyone, everywhere, anytime. So this is not possible because the digital technology is what we have in place right now. So what we ensure is that probably whenever a person is making a payment, I think it should be getting through in a few seconds with all the checks and balances we need to do. That's the trust the company has built. I'm not taking the company name up, but I present Visa, but I think every other company in the credit card space have got the same digital-based technology which is building trust. Coming to, I think I was just listening to the COVID example, so I think how digital technology has transformed the world post-COVID. Just take the workplace scenario right now. So we are working, most of the companies working, operating in remote or hybrid mode. I think, and the cost of travel before COVID for companies and the post-COVID is a drastic change in the travel expenses. I think it's all possible because of the digital technologies which has come in place. I think maybe some of you in this audience, maybe you didn't have most of you might not have experience before COVID, but most of the companies who are using tools like Skype and all, which was just basic calls. I think we saw a major transformation in terms of technologies like Microsoft and Zoom and Team, which has come up with very, very advanced video calling and other features and collaboration features within the tool itself, which is making life very simple. That's how I think the collaboration using digital technologies has increased and workplace has become more remote and more seamless, and people don't have to have too many often in-person meetings, and we can operate anywhere, anytime.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you so much. Archie, what about you? What do you think?
Thanks, Mansi. In fact, first of all, really delighted and thanks for inviting me towards this event. Really honored. And if I see the faces out here, so you're the future. You're the future of India, right? The objective that you're here is into entrepreneurship journey, helping organizations scale up, building businesses. So the context, or I would say the theme, is so apt for this year and onwards, because whatever we see today is completely transformation. Post-COVID, COVID was an enabler globally to switch us into the digital transformation journey. The second aspect that I wanted to talk about is, yes, it is a double-edged sword, without a doubt. However, you need to carry the edged sword and utilize it in an optimal manner. Help your colleagues in future, now and onwards. The fundamental around it is awareness. I'll call out 3 V's. So digital transformation, how does that happen? The fundamental of digital transformation is data. Without data, digital transformation cannot happen. Now, with 3 V's, one is volume, second is velocity. Volume and velocity. Velocity of data, how fast that particular data expands. First, volume, how large the data is. It could be unstructured, it could be structured, and then scattered across multiple different platforms. And third is variety. That's how the business is transformed. So I'll quickly touch upon the volume, which is again the fundamental of fundamentals. The volume of data expanded across the globe. What is the enabler of volume? Cloud. We switched to cloud so that it could be scalable, globally available. Second is velocity. Because of that scalability, the velocity of data expanded across regions. And third being variety. The disruption across businesses happened because the data has been available across regions, as well as the speed of data explosion that has happened. If you see the global population, the fastest, millions and millions petabytes or zettabytes of data is expanded rapidly across the globe. As an example, if you see, if you're abreast with collaboration of various different organizations, we have Starlink. All other countries are also using these low orbit satellites for data, which is internet connectivity. Now, this connectivity, we move to 5G, because without 5G, without this connectivity, the rapid availability of data would not happen. Now, AI, you're using AI, Gen AI, all these co-pilots or ChatGPT, but how does that connect across the globe? Because it's just like Google. It is indexing the data across the globe. Likewise, ChatGPT and all these engines are connecting across the globe in a very fast manner. There's a huge chunk of data which is collated, extracted, and made. It is made into a readable form or understandable form. So without that fast connectivity, these things would not happen. Third, which is about variety, businesses transform, businesses disrupt. Primarily, the way these things happen, so this is about evolution, these are the benefits. However, from the other side, now with the scalability, the point about data being breached, or not, I would say breaches, it's about authenticity of data. Assume globally there is a deformation of information of a particular aspect. What ChatGPT or these AI engines will get for you would be the disinformation information for you. So it would therefore be artificially intelligent. And for which the human intelligence still scales up. Because that's where you will differentiate between artificial and human. The thin line between this is many a time, or most of the time, we get into a comfort zone, into a reliability or reliance onto AI, which doesn't, through which we don't challenge our capability, our creativity. If we are able to continue that particular creativity, so this double-edged sword would be still be under our control.
Thank you, Ajay. I think it was very insightful. Now, picking up from what Archie said, that you are the future. So basically, how many of you understand what is privacy? And what are your rights where privacy is concerned? How many of you just tell me, like, you understand what privacy is or no? Okay, very good. So, I just asked Prashant, that Prashant, he talked about data, he talked about privacy. So, according to you, one, are government and organizations taking appropriate steps to, secure our future and our privacy? And second, do you really feel that, the citizens of today, they understand what privacy is? And also just one more thing to add to it, that, but yes, it is important for digitalization to, do things, but how do we really strike that balance between safeguarding the data of especially the privacy data and but at the same time continue digitalization?
Yeah, it's a good point. Actually, see, governments are doing a lot actually in terms of bringing in the regulations, but only challenge is it is coming a little late. Why I'm saying it is late? Because technology is moving faster than the regulations coming in. For example, in India, the data protection bill was only passed last year, right? So it is still not effective. GDPR, I think it came around 2017-18. It took a year to even understand what are the policies and how do I make sure that those policies are integrated in my processes, right? So yes, governments are doing a lot, but they have to do it at a faster rate because they are not able to catch up with the technology, right? I think a lot of us are actually alluding to cloud. So the islands of your data are increasing. A lot of silos of data. Right in this room or like around you, you have devices which are generating or storing your data. So I think government has to do better in few things. One is be inclusive. Like let's say the stakeholders who are managing the data. I think Visa is one example. There's so much transactions going through them. They should be also part of that, inclusively part of those regulations and defining those policies. Secondly, on the organizations which are actually implementing it, for example, again, any organization like Bajaj or any organization which is applying it, they also have to make sure that they bring in the best of technologies which are managing those and being compliant, right? I think those two things they have to do. Now, from the consumer perspective, as a consumer, my data, I have to make sure that it is really maintained, right? The privacy is maintained. So we have to see that we secure our object for whatever data transaction that we do. Like for example, a very simple thing. To two-factor authentication has to be enabled. I mean, if you don't do that, then there is no one who can save, right? So those things have to be taken care from our end. So try to minimize the touch points where you are exposing your data.
Yeah, thanks, Vishal. So I think you touched upon a very, very important point that you want to also be aware that what are your rights. Like suppose somebody is asking your date of birth, where you know you don't need it. Then why you add that? You always be, really comfortable enough to ask that question. So that is the thing, that you want in future, you should at least be custodians of at least your data, your privacy, your data. That is, thank you so much, Vishal. Aarti, come back to you, and then maybe to Nitin and Nitin again. So, right, we're going to do Nitin in the panel. So Aarti, he really talked about, that responsibility of data. But yes, there are external factors as well. The corporations can really work on, securing the data. So, but how do you feel that large corporations, what steps should they take where cybersecurity is concerned? And if you can share some best practices for your industry.
Thank you, Mansi. In fact, see, fundamentally, so how I follow, what I follow is the first principle thinking. Going back to the roots, I mean, there could be enormous evolution of learning, knowledge and information. Right now we are in an era of information overload. You can get information, you can get insights from everywhere. Everywhere. Instagram, YouTube, X, whatever. But the point is looking at the fundamental through the first principle thinking. First principle thinking helps us enable or identify the core crux of the problem and how I can be more creative and innovative. Now, as for the question about what Mansi talked about, so fundamentally, there needs to be a very strong balance between the data that is available to us versus data democratization. Data democratization means making sure the data is available in the right form to the right people at the right time. Now this encapsulates all the parameters to make sure this is secure. So anything that will enable this data democratization in a secure manner is data security. If we are able to, for example, now, lot of information or massive information is there. You are very much abreast with all the breaches that are happening across the globe. But as a sample, as an example, how well we are aware about our surroundings, be questioning about what's there, will enable you in a critical thinking. Example again, how many of us have used this Echo or Alexa? Yeah. Now, if you don't connect Alexa to your Wi-Fi, it is still listening to you. How? It has an inbuilt battery which identifies, detects for the nearest Alexa. Just imagine living in a locality where every house has an Alexa or digitally connected. Now, you will be, if you're being more secure, more cautious, you turn off the Alexa so that you're talking about whatever you're talking, it's not being heard. So, just like Siri, so when you say, hey Siri, it will listen to you. But if when you're saying, hey Archie, it won't be listening to you. But it is still identifying, it is constantly listening. That's what we should be aware of. I did an experiment, and this is a common experiment which I tried at my home as well. So I turned off the phone, kept the phone completely away, and talked about a particular aspect. Let's say Louis Vuitton. I talked about Louis Vuitton brand, the bags and everything. We were talking for like 5 minutes. And then I opened up Instagram. It didn't show. Then I turned on and did the similar kind of a conversation. It started showing me all the feeds about it. No, good part, why this is happening. So it is all open. We are all aware about it. It is because of the competitive business environment. These brands or Amazon, all of it, they are trying to utilize as much data that is there available in terms of their marketing. I mean, in terms of their business. This is, I would say, it's ethical. On the other hand, from the same perspective, there is a list of, when you go on to Meta, if you have heard of what Elon Musk said for Apple iPhone 16, he started with the Apple Intelligence. He said if Apple is going to use OpenAI, open source AI, into and embed that into their iOS, he would not, he would completely move out all people who are using iPhone in his organization. Why so? Because open source, what open source is, what actually happens, whatever you feed into the, I would say, on these AI engines, or let's say whatever you give out, they are learning from it. But just, I just asking ChatGPT, who is our chief? It gave me a complete history about me, which I actually didn't know, or I didn't have the list of all those things. It captured data from all of the aspects across the internet and it gave me the output. Now, coming precisely about how or what this data democratization should be executed. Primarily, again, fundamentally, there are security practices, MFA, zero trust. I mean, no matter how strong you create the armor, there is always something that would be an interception. Anything that would be there. So privacy is a myth, to be very honest. We are assuming as long as we are, or I would say ignorance is bliss. As long as we are ignorant, we are happy. The moment we are aware, it actually starts creating that level of concern. Now, how that particular data could be manipulated? Now, the impact from our end, I can be more cautious. However, globally, because it is a complete massive data chunk, how would that be controlled? It can only be controlled if everybody is aware and there are measures, or I would say enforcements around those. That's why we have policies, that's why we have GDPR, that's why we have all those California privacy laws and all. So that it is enforced in the environment. Example, Zomato. Now, how many of us know that Zomato is a consulting organization? Yeah. The majority of its revenue comes from consulting. Because if you want to set up any restaurant, you reach out to them, they'll tell you like what should be your menu, what is the right place to have your home kitchen and other things, and get the maximum benefit out of it. So they do that consulting. How? Because it has this organic data coming into it, which they have converted into a structured format. Controls around it. Again, single ID. We have ID associated with it. We have Digiyatra, which you use across value traffic. Now, what if coming with a single phone number, with a single email ID, the entire history, the entire footprint can be captured about anybody else. Now, as an individual, there could be multiple catastrophic impact as an individual, which could impact me. But let's say from cyber warfare, how this could impact. There are so many loopholes around the data which is across the globe. With Starlink, the internet connectivity can happen even at the highest peak of the mountain and the deepest of the seas and oceans. There are benefits. There are multiple business benefits out there. But with all those benefits, the controls around all these, how you will be securing the satellite communication. Many of us might not have ventured into it. But since that is the future, if you're able to think beyond horizon, if you're able to identify what is there today it's all secure. But what would be there tomorrow, that is what we need to make sure is secure, is controlled, is avoid from manipulation. Finally, talking about insurance as an example. Now, within insurance, or I would say, or patient's information, there are compliance that so and so information should not be given out. But let's say if there is a third party, most of the impacts that are there you see through a third party supply chain. CrowdStrike as an example, it is a simple update which completely, CrowdStrike may have a, let's say, X number of user base globally. Microsoft is a massive user base. People use Microsoft as an operating system. Now with that, with Microsoft, it actually depleted Microsoft to function efficiently. So it's a again double-edged sword, because it's a third-party supplier or an application which impacted the Microsoft environment and having a large user base. With in terms of insurance, there are measures. There are terms like homomorphic encryption, which will encrypt specific area which we will be passing on to the third party. There is decentralized privacy, which is again, you can implement such technology so that only the particular section is passed on to the third party, or it would go out in an encrypted format, and only the recipient or the particular group would have that particular information. And fundamentally at the ground, it's all zero trust.
Thanks a lot, Nitin. So Nitin, thanks for answering. So Nitin, my question to you, like he did talk about a lot of automation, AI. Now, what do you feel that, one, we all know, for digitization, AI and regulation is very important. But do you feel that, it is making us slow? Maybe, what is the impact on humans of, using these technologies? One. And second, do you really feel that, this is the future, and how will I would say AI and automation affect the digital economies?
Thanks for the question, Mansi. So I'll just give you some examples from my industry. So I think in the payments industry, like companies like Visa, so we do around 700 million transactions per day. That's across the globe. And there are thousands of transactions happening every few seconds as we speak. So how do we process these transactions and ensure there is a trust inbuilt into those transactions as the user put forward his card onto your POS machine or onto an online e-commerce portal, finding links for making a transaction. This is all backed by the AI models which has been running over the last couple of decades. And it has been being advanced and been learning as we speak. Every year we keep on churning more and more data because it's getting exposed to more and more data. As I was speaking, that there are billions of transactions every day. So, and there are thousands and millions of users across the globe who are using this information. So, like suppose, for example, there's a user, it's a high net worth individual, but he always uses his card on some, I think, luxury goods or luxury brands. But suddenly there's a transaction which is noticed for his card, which is on a very different location, and it's probably a mom and pop store. So it's a very, very different kind of information for a platform like Visa, which processes information using AI models. So it always triggers this kind of transaction, this kind of anomaly behavior will trigger an alert which goes to the bank or the merchant, identifying that this potential could be a fraud transaction. So the necessary action is taken by the bank to calling the customer, whether for a verification, whether it's potentially, it's definitely a true, real transaction or whether it's a fraud transaction. So similarly, again, I think probably there could be a person who is probably a small middle class person, but he's always with his card in his locality, but suddenly there is a transaction on his card which is on a casino. Again, it's anomaly behavior. So these kind of transactions, again, probably there's a lot of use cases, similar use cases, which has been very cool using data which is being processed on this platform, and AI models is increased learning into it. But apart from, I think, just we should not leave the trust only on the AI models, because AI models can have bias, can have issues. So So that's where the human in loop comes in picture. Again, probably there are different industries have got different human in loop concept for AI models. In our case, because payments, we cannot really put a person in the human in loop to verify something before you do a transaction. So what AI industry does is we have rule-based transactions, rule-based checks post the AI models. Like suppose there is an anomaly and that you really want to authenticate whether the transaction should be approved or not. There are various number of rules which is given by the banks on particular kind of transactions. So you will see that it could be a potential fraud. We put it into the rule base and just check all those rules whether the transaction is still authenticated transaction or real transaction or could be a potential fraud, and then decide whether it's going to be a fraud or not. So that's where human in loop comes in picture. So I think AI is definitely making a big impact in digitization. I think I'm just talking about payment industry, but there are a lot of examples in different industries also. But the potential flip side or the double-edged sword side of using AI is also about the kind of biases which can be built in there. So not in the payments industry, but like probably there was an example of the Amazon in the past in terms of the hiring. So a lot of people must have heard about it. So what was happening is that Amazon was using some AI model for expedite its hiring process, but they were inbuilt. This is the model was still on some data which was available across internet or some other sources. It was biased against certain gender or certain class of people. So when they were trying to shortlist the candidates using the AI model, it was always, I think, disqualifying those kind of candidates which was probably already felt as a bias in the model. So this kind of biases, again, probably if you haven't made sure that your models are really tested through for all the corner cases, I think this can probably backfire on the company or the reputation of the company. So other, I think, challenge with the AI or machine learning models is about the transparency, like how good you can understand your model before you use it. So I think for especially probably if you talk about Gen AI, which has been around last almost 2 years, so I think that's a big challenge with Gen AI. Since these are very, very large language models which is trained on millions of parameters, transparency is a big, big problem. That's where I think when we are using Gen AI for simple use cases like knowledge management or getting answers for knowledge management repositories or customer experience and all, those probably use cases are still okay, but I think adoption for Gen AI models for business transformation or business, I think growth use cases are limited because of this challenge. And that's where we are seeing a new concept of calling SLMs, called small language models communication. I think that's where we're trying to, those SLMs are more focused on specific use cases where you have more control on the model, what you're trying to do and what kind of use cases it will solve. So I think these kind of problems, and there are a lot more, I think, challenges on AI, but I probably in the interest of time I'll not delve into it. So before you use any technology, I think to drive your digital growth or your business, I think we should look at the flip side of it also and should evaluate from all the angles before you deploy it in a production and expose it to your customers.
Yeah, thanks.
Just to compliment, because Nathan has raised a good point, right? In terms of over-reliant on technology, and the other thing is biases, right? So these are the few examples which I read. So when we say over-reliant, so there was a situation in London Bridge, right? So there were some issues, there were some attacks over there, and people were there in nearby restaurant, right? Hearing this news, of course, what first thing come in people's mind is that, go back to home. So what they did, they started cooking Uber, right? And within 15-20 minutes, considering the demand was very high, Uber algo work, and of course, demand is high, price will go high. Price within 20 or 30 minutes, price shot up around 200%, right? So if we look at from data science perspective or do the math, right, it's the right thing because demand is high, price should be high, but at what condition? And that is where the over-reliance on technology is something which really need to be considered. And because of that, of course, Uber got pretty bad name. Right? This is one example. I just add one more. In terms of bias, so Nitin mentioned about bias, right? So there is again very good example in terms of bias, which all these large language models can show up, and that can become a very dangerous thing for overall, not only about company, overall society. In US, there is one company called as Optum. So they have this healthcare software, right? And they give it to so many, healthcare companies. And there is one feature in the software. What it says is like it will look at the data of all the people who have critical disease and how frequently those guys need a follow-up. So it will set a reminder to them. When we got implemented, what happened that when people looked at the outcome, they saw that it was giving the outcome that 82% of white people were sent the reminder and only 18% were black people. Right? So, of course, there was a lot of outrage about it, and when they did the deep dive on this one, they got to know two things. Number one, that in general, black people were not getting, proper healthcare required. So this is not a problem about that border, right? That's an underlying problem in terms of society. But from company perspective, they also relied on that data, right? And which they call it like undersampling. So in these situations, it's very important that before we release this model, it needs to be tested thoroughly, considering all these biases.
Thanks a lot, Vijay, for that perspective. So maybe, I just come back to you only, that, digitization is really reshaping the future. So what do you think organizations and institutes like IIM, how should they shape up, people of the future? And also, like, do you feel that, how they can be complicit enough, responsible enough for the society of digitization?
If we talk about digitalization, right, and overall digital transformation, and if you go underlying a little bit more deeper, it's all about technological evolution. And in the last decade, it is happening at very unprecedented pace, right? And institutions, like of course IIMs, have very big and major role to play over here because you all are future leaders, right? But how to cope it up? We can't change the syllabus and match the pace of all these technological advancements. Right? So, and that is where I think one thing is these type of discussions, right, really helps. Because if you see, we are all having some different level of experience, right? And we have seen different level of challenges and problems. Sharing those, we hope that even if, let's say, you guys get only 2% of it, for sure it will help you a lot in the future. So, once to answer your question, I think colleges like IIMs, right, I think they are already doing it. And for sure this need to be, continued because it's again, it will be keep on evolving.
So do you feel that digitalization in the future in some sectors can completely remove labor and, involve AI and digitalization?
Yeah, again, so Mansi is keeping only on, double-edged sword, right? See, completely removing labor, right? Answer to me is yes or no, right? Because we need to see it at two sides, right? Removing labor, but from which segment, right? There are areas where we say those are like mundane tasks, repetitive tasks, right? Which can very well be automated with these automated tools, right? So to answer for that, for sure, those jobs, I doubt that will be required in future. But if we talk about, key jobs where we need human skills, where we need leadership skills, where we need the cognitive skills, those we can't expect machine to do, right? Those are something, those jobs, I don't think that those will go away anywhere. Just for example, right? If we talk about these AI models, right? AI models are there, but we need to train them, right? And to train them, we need, as individuals, we need those skills. And this training cannot be one time. This is continuous training, right? So to me, I see it this way that future will be more open, where human and machine will collaborate, and where human intelligence and artificial intelligence all will be complementing to each other.
Yeah, for sure. You can answer.
I just wanted to add something. Because we're talking about the future leaders here. See, we started this session with two things. One is by thinking about Saraswati, which is education, and the second one was we were talking about Arogya and Sampada. So these two sectors, actually education and healthcare, is somewhere the place where you can make the maximum impact. I'll tell you the reason. During COVID, digitalization actually boomed like anything, right? But it was restricted to those who had access to it. So if you look at the schools in Bangalore and the metros, they were still running and remotely kids were studying. But the same thing was not applicable to the villages. That's one aspect that we have to change, and that will change with some good, maybe digital infrastructure investment, right? The second thing is the healthcare, right? So of course the IoT and all those things are all applicable, and we're getting tremendous support from technology. But the same is still not available in the village. Right? If you think about the remote villages, there can be a road-based supply of medicine to be done there. If there is a snake bite, can I immediately provide something there? Right? So that's where we have to think.
Great, thank you. Within I come that we all talked about corporations and stuff. What do you feel is the government role in this, setting up the regulation? Whether it's digital regulation is often seen as essential to progress, right? But how do you think government should regulate digital industries? We know there are a lot of privacy laws are coming in, but what else can we do? So that we encourage best practices, but at the same time, we do align.
I think governments definitely have a major role to play in this. I think so. Probably, I think Prashant was quoting in the past, earlier in the discussion. So, the various governments and coming out with regulations to control. There should be a better framework about usage of data and how we use that data, consumer data, and creating policies. But I think apart from that, what else the government can do is about, I think, launching some education programs, both for the, I think, most of the people I think are well educated, they understand to a certain extent, but I think people who are not very educated, but they are exposed to digital means to share their data, like probably making a payment through any site, probably they're going to a store, but scanning the data, but how their data is being captured for, what purpose is it going to be used for, or whether they're installing an app on their mobile and they're giving a consent tick mark because they have particular couple of tick marks to be checked before you can start using the application, and what kind of data you are kind of doing consent indirectly by without knowing it to be used by a particular application or company. I think these things are very, very, I think this requires a lot of education at the grassroots level. And I don't think the government itself can do it, but the government will launch programs and partner with companies or the corporations to make it ensure that probably the right education is given to the end user before they start using their service. So it should be a joint accountability where corporations who are launching these kind of products in the market, they are also accountable for, I think, what data they are collecting, and they are making aware that the user who is signing up the information, they are really aware of what data they are sharing and how it is going to be used. So that's how I think this ecosystem of, I think, using ethical use of data, this digitization, probably can make more progress and it just can remain in the system. I think that's how both government and corporations should work.
Awareness needs to start at the root level. Prashant, you want to add something to this?
Yeah, I think so. In any software application, I think AI first, the design thinking has to be there. That's what I feel as an addition. The consumer, again, whoever is collecting your data, they should be transparent with you. So we have to find technology that can actually transparently tell you how do they collect, how do they store, and how do they utilize your data.
That's great. So, Nitin, I come to you that, we talk about government institutions. And Mr. Gautam talked about IRCTC, when there was a breach and then maybe our parents don't want to go into digital system. So how can government leverage digital technologies to build trust in citizens and while enjoying transparency and accountability? And can we feel safe by using the digital platform given by the government?
See, there are two aspects of it, right? One in terms of data safety and security, which have been covered, so I'll not cover that. But if you see government perspective, I think especially if you see in India, right, there have been so many initiatives taken And again, this will be evolving and continuous journey. But I would still like to call the example of passport seva, right? I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it has not been so happy situation when we go for passport renewal before, right? But now it is more like we go for passport renewal and we know that within 7 days we will get the passport, right? So that is one thing. Another thing, Digiyatra and all those stuff, right? And I think Digilocal, you are talking about IRCP and all that, right? So those initiatives I think are already happening, which really help in terms of bringing transparency, trust, even speed at scale, right? So that is what I see.
But me being a cybersecurity practitioner, I really feel that maybe government should also release that these are the security practices we are enabling for your privacy and things like that. Yeah, so that adds to that transparency and security first. Then maybe they should also according to the AVD reports. Vulnerability reports, yeah. Actually, just coming to you, talking about governments and ethics. So in your view, and you also shared a lot regarding Alexa, how ethical use of AI and everything should be done. So what do you feel, what are these ethical dilemmas which are arising out of deepfakes? So we didn't talk about deepfakes. Some elements in targeted advertising which you spoke about. So the ones you really talked about a lot of dilemmas, but you really feel that these will increase in future, or but people will become responsible that will decrease with awareness and education?
Thank you, Mansi again. To answer that again, how I look at things over the period, being security as one of my core focus areas is psychology. Because the fundamental about security is social engineering, which is driven through psychology. Technology is the next level. I was observing the audience here. I am observing the professors who are sitting in the front row. The attention towards this conversation, and there's no right and wrong. The attention towards this conversation is very, very active in the front row of professors. And they have a wealth of knowledge. What we are talking, they might be already aware of it. But the attention span is enormous, the focus is enormous. On the contrary, the attention span within the other audience here is a little jittery. Again, it's not right and wrong. I'm coming to a point. The environment that this generation lives in is in a short attention span. That's how you're building or that's how you're getting information. Anything into shorts, reels, or anything between 3 minutes, these anecdotes are getting more attention versus the length of conversation, an hour or 2 hours, and that's how we feel we doze off maybe during sessions. But the point here, what I'm trying to make is, if you are able to master this, you'll be able to safeguard the security aspects. How? See, for anything and everything, I would say to make sure things are secure enough, your patience, your caution is utmost important. Now, there was a meeting that happened amongst like 6 people, and one of the person ended up getting compromised, or I would say getting influenced, and then compromising his organization, his or her organization. The remaining 5 people were all AI. And he was in a conversation where the entire 5 people who were interacting with him were AI interactions. This is a well-known news, quite a famous one. Now, on the basic, again on the fundamental aspects, the organization, let's say there may be the C-levels, the CEOs, the decision makers, the CHROs, CFOs, their names are there on the websites. as an individual, I get to know about those people, those individuals, and try to, if I have some interest, some vested interest in that particular organization, I can utilize that particular simple information of the name of those individuals and utilize that. And this is again massively common, and this is the most common one that is happening even in my organization everywhere, where people on WhatsApp are using this image of the CEO and sending messages and asking the finance team, or they get to know about few of the people in the organization who are at a subordinate level or layer down below, a message coming from the CEO with an urgency. They end up doing stuff, and many of the organizations have compromised with like huge amount of data transfer, or data transfer, money transfer. So what I'm trying to emphasize is, as the future of the transformational organization, what as individuals you need to focus on is taking poised decisions. Be cautious about. Because the wealth of information and knowledge everybody is having, you have information overload already, but how you'll be able to control that information and utilize that information at the right time will avoid data democratization impact. Yeah. There are laws, there are controls, everywhere there are controls. No matter how enormous the technology is, the deep fakes, now deep fakes are helpful in various different aspects. You're able to create videos, SOPs, video SOPs, learning mechanisms. But again, deep fakes, voice, all of that. Now there are apps, there are free apps that are there. I can only put in my image and I can put a sample of my voice and they create videos for me. I can be an influencer over Instagram and earn like 10 lakhs per lead. This is where people get carried away. How it would be utilized in the other manner. Child trafficking. Imagine parents getting, or the child getting videos or voice messages of their parents, misleading them. All of that. There is always two sides, two edges. The only, again, fundamentally, technology definitely plays a very important role. We, as individuals, and I was very delighted to know that this batch is one of the batch which is on a higher side of a non-technical background, versus most of the time it's engineers into business. However, this time it's a mix, and that's where you see the differentiator. Into hotel industries. Let's say tomorrow there may be hotels or banking. When was the last time we went to a bank? Within the banks, 66 of the Fortune 100 banks are my customer in my organization. So by Fortune 100, I mean all top banks. The biggest challenge that they are experiencing right now is fraud. Millions and millions of dollars lost in fraud. And they are investing into technology. Again, let's say $500,000 or $250,000 just to avoid that particular fraud. At the fundamental level, if you again challenge your critical thinking, if you are able to kill, or I would say eradicate the fraud or reduce the fraud, you are also saving the cost for the organization. So that's how you evolve your thinking in terms of those directions. It's not only technology, it's not only business, it's not only, every organization is a data organization. That is the fact we all should be aware of. Tesla is not a car company, it's a data company. Google is again a data company. Every organization is a data company. Why it is so important? Now, flooding of data and structuring, analytics, or even AI, all of this is just creating businesses out of it. And that will happen. that will happen, that is happening, and it will continue to happen. Future, let's say future of the business, which would be the most, I would say, exponential business in next 5 to 8 years? Entertainment. Because the other aspects of the business, most of those would be automated. The only place where AI may not be able to entertain us would be this area. So entertainment industry, food industry, again, this was not exponential earlier. But with the right timing of the pandemic and utilizing the digital aspects, this completely evolved. There was a time when the entire hotel industry was on a standstill because of COVID. The transportation, the cars and everything, they had to use a lot of in their stockyards. Now the sales has gone up. Now all of this, and if you see, even when we talk about automobiles or automobiles, there Chinese organizations or other organizations are building, they are reducing the cost, giving you the experience. We compromise, unknowingly or knowingly, we compromise aspects for the experience. So there, we need to make a midway where the experience should throttle and where the data and information should throttle. How I would be able to segregate.
Yeah, I think Rajiv, thanks for that. So I think the main message here is awareness, awareness, awareness. So once you go home today or go to your college, first please check your mobile phone, check all the apps you are listening and go over. Second, Google your name and you'll find what is digital footprint you have. Third, please change your passwords. If you have never correct your password, I can break it in 3 minutes. Please have a 50 character password, one uppercase, one lowercase, one numeric, and one asterisk at least. Otherwise, you will be missed. And please make more and more people aware. More of the scams that are happening today, right? You know about the scam, you know about people about the system, things like that. So please educate your families, educate your friends. That's the guidance to start. And responsibility of your career, because you are the future. So, as you talk about the future, one major challenge which you see in 5 to 10 years, which you want to share with them and how they should go about with them. So, we can end with that.
I think probably, as Ashu was saying, probably the future is digitization. I think the collection of data and probably use of data by companies is continuing to be growing, I think, as we move forward, because the advent of technology is making it very, very easy for collecting the data and use of the data. So I think that's where we should be very, very cognizant, and probably the companies who are collecting this data, they should have a responsibility. And I think responsible usage of data is the future, where probably we collectively work together and know how data should be used and why it should be used and where it should be used. So I think that's where a lot of companies are very, very aware of it, and I think probably either it's because of the awareness or it's served by the regulations. I think that's where governments, regulations and the companies, they should be working together. There should be more and more solutions coming forward. Again, data will be an underlying foundation of it, but the solutions should be focused on how we probably have more trust in probably sharing the data and then probably going to be used. I think that's where both business and technology has to come together and work together to make it a success.
Thanks, Nitin. So the you started with saying that it's a two-edged sword, but still in our hands. After 5 years, you feel that is the case, and what are the flip side to it?
Yeah. See, if you see, whatever, right? Out of all these discussions, the key thing is coming out is that awareness, right? Just how Mansa said that, awareness, right? See, and that is where I was reading somewhere that if digital transformation is difficult, so just pay attention. If digital transformation is difficult, then human transformation is more difficult. And that's true. Think about it. Just take a pause, like Mansa said that your password should be set with all these conditions, whatever she said. Right? How many times do we really hear about it? We're not talking about bank transactions, right? So to answer your question, Mansi, I think focus should be more on human transformation. Right? We need to be ready because see, digital transformation is going to penetrate more. That's reality. Right? We can't go into that mode that there is a problem because of data breach and all that, right? All these things for sure will be involved. But most important thing is we have to accept it, embrace it, that digital transformation is going to be here and it is going to enable us more, right? Empower us more. And for that, one more thing I would like to add here is we ourselves, right, need to be in that mode where we ourselves are adaptable, more flexible, agile. That is where we say that nowadays the lifespan of technology is not that much, right? So we have to be continuously reskilling and upskilling ourselves so that we are aware of what is happening and we are matching at least the pace of the technological evolution.
Yeah, Aji, you have something to say on that?
In a nutshell, primarily. So, what is a surprise? Surprise is lack of awareness or ignorance. Isn't it? You'll be surprised if you are not aware. You'll be surprised if you are ignorant. As simple as that. Job displacements is, we may say like, yeah, there may be change in jobs or there may be cut in jobs or whatever. From where I see, or from my experience, what I see is there couldn't be any job displacement. Humans, year on year, centuries and centuries, things have displaced from one place to another. The way businesses, the jobs and work, everything functions, that has displaced. So, if you are able to, instead of getting surprised, again fundamentally aware of how businesses are changing, where the digital or I would say digitization is applicability as well as safeguard of it. If you are able to think with that particular foresight, you'll be able to transform and add value to the existing businesses or even disrupt existing businesses. iPhones have been coming up with cameras over cameras and cameras. The only innovation that happened was way back. However, other competitors are coming up with some other innovation. So, again, trying to capture the market. Maruti, if you see, there were at one point in time during our years, Maruti was the only car for Ambassador or Fiat Padmani. So these were the only cars on the road. Maruti took a very exponential growth, captured the market, but again, the displacement happened for experience. People used to get a lot of experience, functions, features in automobiles. Safety became priority. It's gradually reduced or reduced the market capture. So that's how, wherever you can think around displacement, that's where you create space for yourself as well as for others.
Yeah, thanks, Aji. And Prashant, last one.
Yeah, I will conclude with very pointed, very tangible outcomes we can have. So business has to focus on reskilling of the people. For sure, that's the first thing. Society, like we have to make sure that whatever we use is accessible for everyone. And third, which is government, they have to bring in stricter laws and faster laws. Okay? That's the only thing.
Yeah, thanks. And from my side, I would say identity. For the next 5 to 10 years, your digital identity is something which is there to stay. So please protect it, ensure that you have asked the right questions before giving any information online, and be very, very vigilant on that. So with that, I really thank all the panelists for the amazing session, and thank you to IIM for giving us this opportunity. Thank you very much. Okay, we can take around 2-3 questions and anybody else. Any questions or everything is very clear to everybody?
At last, I'm going to ask one question.
Yeah, please.
But first you wait.
Hello.
Yeah, please.
Hello.
Can you be a bit louder?
My question is to Nitin sir. As sir mentioned that about overcase, as data science student, we always try to make predictive models as good as possible. But in such cases, like as you mentioned in overcase, it's pretty difficult to consider these conditions, and it definitely affects brand and revenue. So my request is to do some suggestions or 2 points so that like we can have a control over such conditions.
Okay, so if I'm understanding your question, you are asking like in whatever type of conditions, what to do.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. See, one thing, these are not the daily events, right? That is one. And second thing is, it's more about that when these type of situations happen, right? That is what we were discussing about over reliant on technology, right? So when we develop these type of algorithms, there should always be a mechanism where we as human, right, or the owner of that algo should go and override that, right? So means in that situation, what solution would have been done is, in fact, that is what Google implemented, right? Google was late, they override that, means they stop that algo not to increase the price. Okay? That is what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, so basically, business logics need to be built in, and checks and balances need to be built in on top of it, so that the things really work well.
Last reply on this one. See, the source of this information, maybe that has to be integrated in your model. If you can do that, future the model will output will be good.
Any other question? Yeah, please.
A very good afternoon to all panelists. My question is to Archie sir. Sir, if we deploy AI to encounter cyber attacks as part of cyber security initiative means incorporating the ethical characteristics of human in AI, will we still have the double-edged sword in our control? What is your opinion, sir?
The answer I would say is definitely yes. The sword would definitely and always remain double-edged. And that has been the history throughout. Early days in 90s, there used to be virus as well as antivirus, simple program and attack and defend. Now AI, it actually helps you be more predictive with the help of threat intel. And what threat intel is, again, a large chunk of database. Detection of threats through threat intel happens from a central, or I would say multiple sources of information, multiple sources of data, gathered all together, and then be more predictive. However, the term of 0 days still remains, because the faster we are in the process of prevention, the faster the other side, the attack vectors, the other criminals, cyber criminals are much more advanced in terms of creating you 0-day threats. That's one. Second is from the engine perspective. Now with the AI engine being more predictive, there is a term adversarial attacks and all. With adversaries, which may be, let's say, again, as an example, a Tesla or any driverless car that is there. If a particular road sign is made deceptive, the AI engine would read it in a different manner. There could be collisions, there could be misguiding of information, or I would say whatever intent of the AI engine is there. So AI both is always a blessing as well as a boon, as well as on the other side it's always a matter of concern as well. That's where we strike the balance, and that's where human intelligence comes as a master player.
Thanks, Archie. Last question, anybody? Yeah, at the back.
Good afternoon, panelists. My question to you, what role does digital literacy play in fostering trust and skepticism among users in a digitized environment?
I think the entire panel was around it. So anybody wants to take maybe summarize? Can you repeat the question, please?
The first part of the question was not clear.
What role does digital literacy play in fostering trust and skepticism among users in a digitized environment?
I think it's a very good question. In the maturity curve, the literacy part is the biggest, it's a very important. So let's say even the organizations, you bring in a lot of policies, you bring in technology changes, but if the people who are using it, they are not, when you say literate, they don't know. One of the examples is traceability of your own data. Because once you open, let's say very simple, once you open a bank account, there is one application that you interact with, but internally it will flow into multiple places. So the moment you actually close your account, your data, your consent has to be deleted, right? Now, from which system it has to be deleted? Only the app which you have started with, or all the systems. So that is where data literacy comes. So we should be aware where our data is flowing. So definitely, it's a very important imperative.
And also, like we are saying that, as this is that 5 to 10 years, digitalization is here to stay. So now, if we don't incorporate digital literacy from the root, then, we will be a nation, if you look at from the country's perspective, we will be someone who are very lag behind. So for our nation to progress, for our world to progress, and to fight against all these negative aspects of digitalization, and digital literacy should be the top priority for all of us. Just one person over there who wanted a question. We can take that one. Yeah.
Good afternoon, panelists. So I wanted to ask, how can we effectively manage the conflict between regulating digital ecosystem and enabling employees to innovate through autonomy in the pursuit of increased digitization? Also, how do you have it that drive might ensure a digital transformation that does not kill creativity or create a surveillance culture, eroding trust in organizations?
So I think we were talking about two things, right? How to educate digital literacy among the workforce, right? And the second one looks to be more towards ethical issues. Right? See again, digital literacy, digital stuff, all these are ever evolving, right? It will grow more, right? So it's time has come where we say that I'm having 20 years of experience in certain technologies, so I'm going to get premium, right? No. Right. Time has come to be flexible, adaptable, and continuously relearning, unlearning, and reskilling also. Right? And that should be the main focus, and it should not be an organization we have just one-time training and it's done and dusted. No, it should be continuous. That is one thing. Second, if you talk about this ethical stuff, right? Again, example I was giving about that healthcare company, right? So what they say that is where I am also tend to agree on that. There should be one ethical committee, and that should be as diverse as it can be. Means if we are rolling out any of the digital model, right, that should have people from legal, from art, from what other department we can think of, so that we get that collective input into it, right, and which helps us to make sure that we are avoiding all these bias-related issues.
I agree that the people, process, and technology, all of these should be inside the digital server of trust. That only digitalization can be done. Thank you. So I think we will close the panel at this time. Thank you everybody for your discussion.
Thank you to our insightful and engaging panelists for responding to all the questions with alacrity. You can now have a seat in the audience and enjoy the conclave further.
Selfie with you guys. So you want to start?
even sound can also be captured in a picture. You can say, yeah, hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! Thank you.
Now, we would like to invite Ms. Pragya Gupta to conclude the conclave.
Good afternoon to all the dignitaries, faculty members, and my dear fellow batchmates. After such an insightful session on the intricate Keynote, digitization and trust, a double-edged sword shaping our future. It is clear that we are at the cusp of a new era, where technology and trust are more interconnected than ever before. Today's discussion has not only broadened our understanding of this dynamic relationship, but also challenged us to think critically about the future we are collectively shaping. Firstly, I would like to thank all the distinguished speakers who shared their invaluable insights. We began with the thought-provoking keynote address by Mr. Gautam Datta, who shed light on not only digitization, but everything which is massive has an impact. He also shared stories of different companies like Target who faced tremendous problems to gain trust back when they once broke trust after a data privacy breach. He emphasized that when trust gets impacted, then business models also get impacted. Continuing with the discussion, Ms. Mansi Thapar moderated the panel throughout with great questions, and continuing with our panel discussion, Mr. Nitin Gupta and Mr. Nitin Maheshwari, Mr. Nitin Prashant Halkar, everyone gave their invaluable insights, and in conclusion, on the behalf of all the students of IIM Amritsar, I would like to thank and extend my heartfelt gratitude to all the dignitaries present here. Thank you for distilling your knowledge and experience into today's discussion. The perspectives shared have provided us with a comprehensive understanding of opportunities and challenges posed by digitization. As we move forward, we may not carry with us the lessons learned today, ensuring that our approach to digital innovation is always rooted in ethical consideration. Thank you and have a nice day. Thank you, Pragya. Now, I would like to request Mr. Loni Ladani, IIC Coordinator, to propose the vote of thanks.
On behalf of every individual involved in organizing this conclave, we would like to extend our heartfelt vote of thanks to all of you for making this conclave a resounding success. Our sincere gratitude extends to our esteemed panelists and keynote speaker. Your willingness to share your valuable knowledge and experiences has enriched us all. We are truly grateful for the profound insights and wisdom that you have imparted. To our Students Affairs Chair and all the honorable faculty members, we extend our heartfelt gratitude for your unwavering support and guidance. We are truly fortunate to have you as our mentors. To the IT team, thank you for ensuring the smooth running of the event. Your hard work is appreciated. We also extend our heartfelt gratitude to Analytics and Business Computing Club of IIM Amritsar for their efforts in setting a relevant and engaging context for the event. A special vote of thanks to their faculty anchor, Professor Sunil Reddy Kunduru. Your unwavering support and guidance throughout planning and execution stages have been instrumental in hosting this event. The success of this conclave owes much to the collaborative efforts of Media and Public Relations Committee, IIM Amritsar. We appreciate the efforts of Placements Committee, IIM Amritsar, to maintain the necessary decorum at the conclave. We are immensely grateful to 50mm, the Photography Club of IIM Amritsar, for their never-ending support. A big round of applause for Industry Interaction Committee for making this event a huge success. And finally to you, the students of IIM Amritsar, thank you for your constant support, patience and engagement. We are truly grateful for your participation. Once again, thank you everyone for making this conclave such a memorable experience. Now I invite all the panelists to please come upon the stage for a picture. Now, I would like the IIT coordinators to join on the stage for a group photo. I would also like to invite the ABC Club for a group photo.
We're getting it from this side. I'm not getting it from
Thank you so much, everyone.